Hey everyone, welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to show you what you can do with PowerPoint 2016. A little bit of background here. You can see that the activity that we've just completed is using PowerPoint Online, and this is obviously the web version of PowerPoint. It's the light version of PowerPoint, so it will let you do some fairly basic things, and it's really good for the purpose that we just used it. Basically we accessed this PowerPoint file, we added our slides, and we did all sorts of interesting things with text and images to visualize what good learning looks like for each of us. And you can see when we look at the slides, we all have sort of fairly different ideas about what good learning looks like, even though probably our sense of what good learning is probably very similar when we look at our ideas across the board. So you can see here we've got a beautiful PowerPoint, and this is a really nicely done using PowerPoint Online. So what we want to do now is explore what we can do when we use PowerPoint 2016. Now, PowerPoint 2016 has a whole raft of very interesting features that at the time this video was recorded have only just been added. Now, to give you a little bit of background on this, PowerPoint 2016 has had available to it for some time this tool called Office Mix. Actually, that was available for both PowerPoint 2016 and PowerPoint 2013. It's been around for about 5 or 6 years, and Office Mix, I'm just showing you the website here, is mix.office.com, and you can see the slogan that they use to describe it is PowerPoint gets interactive. So Office Mix has been a free download. You can add it into PowerPoint 2013 or 2016, and it basically adds a whole bunch of interactive features to PowerPoint. So you can see as I scroll down here, things like voice, video, digital links, polls, interactive apps, and so on. So it's a way of taking a ye-olde PowerPoint and really mixing it up, hence the name Office Mix. You can see also that Office Mix has been really suitable for educators, consumers, and business, and there's some great examples that are on the Office Mix website. Now, I say at the time of the video being recorded because Office Mix has been deprecated very recently, so all the features of Office Mix have simply been rolled into PowerPoint 2016. So before, you used to need to download Office Mix as an add-on. Now you don't need to do that. It's simply included in PowerPoint 2016 and will be included in future versions of PowerPoint moving forward. So you don't actually really need to go to the Office Mix website, except for having a look at some really awesome examples of things that have been made with Office Mix. So you can see here, this one from Bill Gates is a really interesting one. Are poor countries doomed to stay poor? It's actually a documentary that explores kind of like a crystal ball look at developing and developed countries in the future 50 years. And it's a really interesting example of how you can take some media and turn it into a documentary using PowerPoint 2016. You can also see there's other examples like people explaining mathematical principles, or in this case Peter and the Wolf, so digital stories. You can actually do digital stories using formerly using Office Mix and now using PowerPoint 2016. So if you can, check out the Office Mix website. Even though you don't need to download the add-on, it is really useful for looking at examples of really interesting, interactive, multimodal things that you can do with PowerPoint 2016. Now, in our example, what I'm going to show you is where we take the PowerPoint Online file that we've just been working on, and then we import that into PowerPoint 2016, and we have a look at what we can do to extend the modalities in this PowerPoint file. So to do this, you're going to need to download the PowerPoint file. I've already done that. It does take a little bit of time because it's quite a big file. So you're going to go to basically the file menu. I'm clicking that now, and then you're going to click the Download As option, which is the third last option in the list. And you'll see here you get a menu of 4 choices. So you can download a copy, PDF, ODP, or as images. We're just going to download a copy of the PowerPoint. Okay, so click that, and then the download will commence. Now, I've already done that, so I'm going to show you now. I have the PowerPoint file sitting on my desktop, and I'm actually just going to click and open this now. So when I click it, it will open it up in PowerPoint 2016, and it's doing that because obviously it's a file that's on my desktop, so it's going to use the desktop version of PowerPoint, which is PowerPoint 2016. I'm going to click that, and when it loads, you'll see you need to enable editing because you have downloaded it from the web, so it's just a security measure. You need to click enable editing, which is at the top. Just give it a click enable content as well, and then you've got a view of the PowerPoint that we just were spending some time in PowerPoint Online, creating, editing, and so on. And now we've taken that from PowerPoint Online, and we now have that in PowerPoint 2016. Now the reason for this is that I now have access to all the cool features that I can explore in PowerPoint 2016. So first things first, it's really important to have a look at the tabs that you have in the ribbon at the top. Okay, so you'll see here that things that you didn't have available before, like animations, you can now do, and you can do things like track changes. You can add in extra content and so on. The tab, however, that I really want to show you for the purposes of this tutorial is the one called Recording. Now, really importantly, if you can't see this Recording tab, it means you are probably using an older version of PowerPoint, or you haven't updated your PowerPoint. So you should be running updates on your computer at home if you're using your computer at home, and that's really important to make sure that you're using the latest version of PowerPoint. If you're using a computer at school, then it might be a discussion you need to have with your IT manager, because Office updates are really important. They make your version of Office much more secure, and it's really important to update your Office 2016 as much as possible. So if you can't see the Recording tab, it just means you're using an older version, and you may wish to try it at home, or chat with your IT manager and see what can be done. But as long as you can see that tab, you're using the version that supports that, and all versions moving forward will. Now, the Recording tab I'm going to click, and you'll see here you get some options to basically embed multimedia into your PowerPoint. The record slideshow, this is the really interesting one, because basically you can record anything that you do over the top of a slide. So basically what that's going to include is anything that you add to the slide in the form of things like annotations, or your voice. And you can also record your thumbnails. I'm actually going to click this. I'm going to go to the second slide first. So let's click on this slide, and this was added by one of our awesome participants in the course, and she's done this incredible thing around classroom walls coming down and what that means in terms of technology connecting us to the real world. I love the inclusion of the book and nature, learning in the natural world, learning through books, and how books connect us to all sorts of interesting worlds, and then of course the digital as well. So this is a really rich slide, and there's a whole lot of things I could say about it. I mean, I just did, I guess. So why don't I do that in the form of a slide recording? And this is going to be really interesting. So I'm actually going to click this option now. Record from current slide is this one. You can record from the beginning if you prefer, but I'm just going to click this record from current slide. I'll just click the button, and it's going to open up the slide recording view. And you'll see your screen does actually change, and you'll see that in a minute when it comes up. Okay, and now, when I'm going to just click OK there. So, in this example, I'm already recording a screen recording, so it just came up with an error message saying you can only do one recording at a time. But I want to show you this this interface just so you're aware of how the slide recordings work. Okay. Now, when you're ready to record on this slide, you just hit the record button. okay, it will start picking up your voice. So make sure you go to the settings first, and you'll need to select the microphone that you want to use. So in my case, it would be this one, okay, because this is the headset microphone I'm using. You can use obviously your laptop if it has a microphone in it. If you're using a desktop computer, you're going to need to plug in a microphone such as a headset and microphone. It's usually the easiest way to do it. Okay, so make sure the settings have been selected if you wish to record your voice, and you've selected the correct microphone. There's other things you can do. So you can do things like if you're using a webcam, you can actually turn the camera on, and that will basically pick up a thumbnail if you want to put it as a thumbnail, or you could just record your you can actually just make your webcam the whole slide. It's up to you when you set it up. So you just turn your camera on. I'm not going to turn my camera on. I'm just happy to record over the top of this slide. The other thing that you can do, have a look down here, is annotate. So as you're recording, you might like to take out a highlighter, and you might say, look, the key idea in this slide is really getting excited. Once you get excited about learning, that's when it all happens. You can also take out like a red pen, and I'll just use the pen here, and you can start to circle things and so on, and you can annotate things and do little diagrams. If you're using a screen with a that's a touch screen, it's even better, because you could pull out a stylus and actually start annotating using the stylus. You can see I'm just using the mouse here, and it does get a bit clumsy depending on your mouse using skills. Mine are a bit clumsy, but if you're using a stylus, it's usually very, very slick and easy to go. So what will happen if you press record is it's going to start recording your voice. It's going to record everything that you do in the slide, and then that slide becomes a video. Okay, so the cool thing about that is you can just do it slide by slide by slide, and then at the end of it all, you've basically got an interactive video where you've been annotating slides, you've been recording your voice, and so on. So you can see that lends itself to just so many different text types, like documentaries, digital stories, interactive presentations. You could almost do anything, and it could be integrated with pretty much any subject area that requires any kind of explanation or story or something like that to explain the learning, or to visualize the learning, or exemplify the learning in some way. So that's really, really cool. Now, once you've obviously recorded the slide, you then just go stop, and then you're basically good to exit the screen. You can do multiple recordings if you like, if you want to have a go at doing multiple, and then select the one that you like best. And then once you've done that, obviously you're exiting out, you're back into PowerPoint 2016, and then you can keep going. I mean, in this case, I've got so many slides, it would take me quite a long time to speak and annotate all of them. But you might just say pick 2 or 3, and then just do those. When you've finished, you can actually you can save it as a sort of an interactive slideshow with all the videos there, or if you want to just export it to a video. So you've actually done all the speaking, the recording, the annotating, and so on, and then you just hit export to a video, and that just turns that presentation file into a video. So this is a fantastic way to actually create a video project where you can storyboard it using all the slides, where you can record each slide with your voice and so on, and then when you're ready, you export that all to a video. So fantastic for things like documentaries and so on. So just a reminder, do, if you can, if they've kept the Office Mix website, hopefully by the time you're doing this course, do go, it's just mix.office.com, have a look at the examples there, and you'll get some really good ideas as to how you could use the functionalities that we've just looked at, which is slide recordings, in PowerPoint 2016. There are other features that we won't look at in this particular video. So there's apps and quizzes particularly. You can have a look at the tutorials on that. There are loads of good YouTube tutorials where they demonstrate that. Very straightforward. You can you just basically go and you add that as an add-in, and then you set up your quiz, and then you can incorporate the quiz into a PowerPoint. But for starters, I recommend just having a look at the screen recording feature, because that's really where things will start to become very multimodal and media rich, and you can start to look at things like, you know, explaining and learning by teaching others, and all these kind of cool things that you maybe haven't looked at yet. So hopefully you found this tutorial useful for just opening up some of the possibilities for extending on traditional presentations using Office 2016. Thanks, folks.